Hello, I am Gribbly. You are witnessing my ongoing folly, and today's video is going to be a fun story about language barriers and sacrificing your own core beliefs. All that I hold sacred, sacrificed on the altar of YouTube content creation. First, letting me lighten my pipe. I'm smoking Westminster in the disposable cob, and I'm smoking the disposable cob because I've been doing a lot of fishing lately. This is the one that I strap to my backpack when I'm out on the river. And today's video is a fishing video, even though we're starting off here in the Gribbly's Folly Community Garden and Massage Parlor. I received an email. As you may or may not know, I am a dedicated Tenkara fisherman, which means if you're just tuning in because you're a worm drowning bait caster and you found this video, Tenkara is pure and sacred, and you're wrong. Tenkara is fixed line fly fishing, right? So there's no guides, there's no reel, it's just a telescoping rod and a line and a fly. And it's just beautiful in its simplicity. And I made some videos back in the day about the Tenkara rod that I used. And I used that rod because, remember I said Tenkara is fixed line fly fishing. So the phrase fly fishing means everything has to be super expensive, right? I am a self-employed artist, and even before the coronavirus pandemic, I had no money. And so I used these $18 rods that I found on Amazon from a company called Goture. Love them. They're great rods for $18. And I fished my first couple of seasons with these rods or rods like these, and had a blast. If there is an upgrade, I actually have upgraded my rod now, and it's probably a more durable rod, but I can't tell. Anyway, the Goture rods are great. They're great for somebody just starting out like I was, or anybody. Really good stuff. Go watch those videos, link in the description. Apparently, Goture, which is a Chinese manufacturer, found my video. And I guess because not a lot of people review $18 rods for Tenkara, it's a pretty targeted thing. So I got an email from Goture. The email said, "Dear friend," and I'm not making fun of the way that they wrote the email, because I'm sure that their English is far better than my Chinese, right? So they said, "Dear friend," and I'm paraphrasing, "thanks for making the video. If you'll put a link to our website in the video, we'll send you a free rod." So I'm like, okay, cool. Free rod. Why not? Link in the video. Sat back and waited. 6-8 weeks later, box shows up in the mail, and it is a free fishing rod. Thank you so much, Goture. I open up the box to find this. This is the Goture Aquila 7-foot, 2.1 meter bait casting rod. Now, as you know, if you've been watching my channel since the beginning, I might have dabbled in spin fishing a little bit. I wasn't always the paragon of fly fishing virtue that you see before you now, but I have never once in my life used a bait casting rod, and no real reason. I just started with a spin rod and then went straight to fly fishing and never had an occasion to use a bait casting rod. I don't even know what the point of a bait casting rod is versus a spin rod. Anyway, so I thought, well, no big deal, easy come, easy go. It was free, and I'll give it to a friend, or maybe I'll buy a cheap reel for it, leave it in the back of my car for like a survival fishing rod. Okay, no problem. It was free, no big deal. I'll give it to a friend, put it in the back of my car. And then I had the idea when Fireplug 1701D sent me a bunch of free survival fishing supplies, which I immediately put in a tobacco tin. I thought maybe I'll just buy a cheap reel, stick this thing in the back of my car, and it'll be my survival fishing rod. Then I got another email from Goture, and it said, "Dear friend, have you completed the video about the rod?" No. I am too nice to say no when someone gives me a free item, and so that is how you end up watching this video about the Aquila 7-foot bait casting rod. Obviously, it's only 7 feet when it's extended. Currently, it's what, 2 feet? 2 feet, and it comes with this guide protector condom helmet thing. Let's take that off. And so the rod, I have spent a decent amount of time looking it over, and it is every bit the quality of my Shimano spin fishing rod that I used to have, and then it fell off the back of my car and got run over by a truck. I never bought another one because I was a fly fisherman at that point. But it is the quality of a rod for which you might spend 50, 60 bucks in a big box sporting goods store in America, and these things are going for between 25 and 40 bucks on Amazon right now. And it's collapsible. Obviously, that's the big selling point. And it extends to 7 feet. The guides rotate. The guides turn. I don't know what you're fishing for, but alignment of guides isn't really a thing where I fish. The fish are not big enough to really require that. So that's the first caveat in this video, is that I am not going to be fishing for anything big enough to actually stress this rod. So I know that bait casting rods are used by people that are fishing for really big fish. So I can't speak to that. I also can't speak to anything about how it feels or handles or whatever, because I'm not a bait fisherman. However, I like to think I know something about quality products, and I think this is one. I think it is a quality product. The appointments are nice. The reel seat seems solid. It's straight. The guides are, I believe they have ceramic inserts in there, or some sort of insert. The system, the collapsing system, is both friction based, and then when you get when you collapse it down, there's an O-ring stopper, and then the last guide, I noticed, second to last guide is actually floating. It's not a separate piece. It floats on the last piece, which is fine, I guess. I don't know. Seems fine to me. The bottom plug, I guess, to take it apart for cleaning or whatever, is machined aluminum or something. And so I guess you would take I don't know, you take Tenkara rods apart. I don't know if you would take this apart. Anyway, but there is a nicely threaded butt cap. That was a problem on some of the Goture Tenkara rods, the early ones, the Goture Breeze. There was like a foam cardboardy cap instead of a threaded cap. They fixed that now. Anyway, let's go fish it. But first, let's just say bait casting is evil, and I don't condone it. So if there's like kids watching this video, you might want to, maybe the other room, just put them in there and make them watch some Thomas the Tank Engine or something like that, and then we can go to the river. So we're here at one of my old haunts, Leech Creek, and the water is very high and very muddy, and I don't think we're going to catch a damn thing. Okay, one more time for posterity. Here are our specifications. I don't know what any of that means, and this is the reel that I'm using, on loan from Brad. It's a reel. I don't know what any of these switches or knobs do, but this says less or more, and well, we definitely want more, right? And it's time to break out the old Squadron Leader 10 full of spin fishing gear. So I'm fishing with this squiggly little white worm thing that Fireplug sent me. I went with the white because the water's so murky. And I do have an extra weight on there to get it down deep. So here's our spot. Haven't been here for years. Let's go see if I can still do this. Actually, still do this. I've never used a bait caster before that I know of. This looks like some pretty fishy water, right? Okay, so I can't put my phone down to record myself because there's no flat spot that looks like it might not be covered in hepatitis. So I guess we'll just do this. Perfect. Exactly right. Whoa, it did it. It works. Wait a minute. So you cast and then you switch it to the other hand? That's weird. Oh my God, there's people on the trail. Some of them are girls. They're gonna see me with this. I don't know how a bait casting rod is supposed to balance, but this one doesn't at all, unless you hold it upside down, and then it's still not very balanced, but I mean, you know, it's a telescoping rod. All right, so I don't know how far the bank is over there. I'd say it's probably 20 yards, and this will not consistently put the bait, the lure, whatever trashy thing I'm using to catch fish, will not consistently put it in those holes. I have gotten it in those holes a few times, but just barely. But then I have no idea what I'm doing. So our county is going into lockdown in 1 hour. We're supposed to be social distancing, and there's a ton of people out here. But you know, this is a 7-foot rod, so it'll make a good Corona stick. I mean, I'm already wearing a ball cap, and I've got a bait casting set up, so probably pretty intimidating to most of the people in my town. Get the hell back, hippie. So I'm just kind of sitting on this rock and dipping the lure in, and I'm getting bites, but the rod is not quite sensitive enough. I mean, we're talking about like 4 and 5 inch fish here, and I can't quite tell when they're biting. I pulled one out of the water and he got off. Come on, come on. No. Yeah, if it were a little more sensitive, I probably would have gotten it. There we go, there we go, there we go. All right. Fish number 1. Well, I don't think any of this is the rod's fault, but this sucks. How do people fish like, why? Why do people fish like this? This is like trying to eat spaghetti with a spoon in your left hand. If I had to survive with this setup, I would just accept that it was my time to go. Finally, yes, it's cool that it's compact, but I don't know that it's, I mean, it's like the largest Tenkara rod I've used with a giant reel on it. So it's not that compact. So that's the Gribbly's Folly review of bait casting, by way of reviewing the Goture collapsible Aquila rod. I feel like a slut. It's gonna take a long hot shower to get this feeling off, but I think that the rod, if you know, it's a fun rod for the price if you're into reeling by reaching over your casting hand and or switching the rod. Why do people bait cast? It does seem like a quality product. It seems like, you know, on par with the Goture Tenkara rods that I use, meaning, you know, not meant to last forever, but it's dirt cheap and it's pretty good, and I mean, it's really good. Like, this thing is probably better quality than the Tenkara rods that I use. I would not be able to tell the difference between this and a $200 collapsible rod. You're not going to hand it down to your grandchildren like your, you know, bamboo fly rod, octagonal shank, whatever. But if you just want to go fishing and bait casting is your preferred method of doing that, I think it's probably a pretty good buy, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing. But the moral of the story is that I got to go fish for an evening with free gear provided by others. Thank you, Goture, and thank you, Fireplug. And I had a great evening trying out something different and weird. Yeah, thanks for watching. Go look at Goture rods and go sub to Fireplug and keep the ends out for the ties that bind.